a short video on solving a problem that didn't need to be there in the first place that I ran into. If you're using an older version of any of the Firefox browser derivatives that are based on, well, it really doesn't matter which one, but I'm using Komodo Ice Dragon, and it came with this built-in feature. A floating overlay that is displayed when the webcam and or microphone are accessed that literally does nothing. It's supposed to give you quick access to turning on and off the microphone or something, but all it ends up doing is getting right in the middle up here. And if you try to move it out of the way, it's always right where you don't want it to be. It's stuck at the top of the screen permanently, perpetually. It's an add-on. It adds processor cycles that are used. It doesn't do anything. It's simply an indicator, and it goes through a routine or something called WebRTC, which is a communications protocol between, it doesn't matter what it's for. Anyway, Google still uses this methodology for communicating for when you do Google Meets. And yeah, it's irritating as hell, and it makes it to where it will steal focus. And let's kill this. Settings, Hamburger Menu, whatever. Hit the help button. Troubleshooting. Profile folder. Click it. Open the folder. Create a folder within it called Chrome. C-H-R-O-M-E if you don't know how to spell that specific word. Chrome has nothing to do with any particular product. It's the euphemism for the border around your web browser. That's called the Chrome. Inside this folder, create 2 text files and put in the entries you're going to have below, but the ending of them has to be changed to CSS. One of them is called user Chrome. You can capitalize the C in Chrome if you want. And the other one's called user content, capitalizing C. In user content, you will put in WEBRTC indicator space, and then the curly bracket space display colon space none space asterisk, exclamation point, important semicolon space curly bracket. Or you do the same thing, but put a pound sign in front of all that and put it in user Chrome. When you're done, rename them CSS. And then close out that page that you opened up. Now, that's the only thing you have to put into them. And if you have those files already, depending on where you place it, it'll work or fail. And you're supposed to not need to put them both into both files. But I found that it wouldn't work unless I did, and those are the 2 possible formats for it. Or not. Let's move on. Now, in order for those user Chrome and user content cascading style sheets to work in older versions of Firefox, you have to open a new tab, type in about:config in the address bar, and hit enter. Now, depending on the version you have, it will give you the real about config or not. It'll complain or it won't. And Mozilla, like Opera and all other web browsers, has progressively reduced your ability to control what it does, not because it reduces security problems, but because it makes people angry and want to literally scream at these people who write these web browsers. I don't know why they keep taking away features and adding in shit we didn't ask for. Gee, it's just like Microsoft used to do, and Google and YouTube. I'm going to do an aside here. The next thing we're going to do is enable it to be able to even look at our cascading style sheets, because, of course, they decided to disable that at one point. Find or make Boolean entries. The names following are important. Toolkit.legacy user profile customizations.stylesheets. And you set that to true. It's a Boolean value. It's true or false. Then the other one is private.webrtc.hideGlobalIndicator. And that's also set to true. And another one, privacy.webrtc.legacyGlobalIndicator set to false. That's 2 settings in the about config to tell it to stop doing this behavior. and one setting that's in user content or user Chrome cascading style sheets to turn off the WebRTC indicator. And you still have to enable the legacy user profile customization style sheet method toolkit function. And this is gleaned from Reddit, archive.org, copy of what used to be the Firefox add-on that did all of this, that was taken down because it wasn't considered needed anymore. GitHub copy of it from yann. He wrote it, and it doesn't work anymore. And even downloading it may not even give you any information. Buried in it is the things that cause this setting to work, to just make it go away. And if you do these changes, and I hope you don't have to, but if you have to, if you do these things with the 2 CSS files and the entries in about config, it should make the damn thing go away. Now, at the 6-minute mark, here's the diatribe. No, it literally didn't serve any purpose. I don't care if it could, if you could click on it and do something. It didn't have a hiding option, and it would get in the way of you clicking things that were behind the web browser window, or even in the web browser window. And occasionally it would refresh itself and steal focus of the mouse, so when you click on things, it didn't work anymore. And it doesn't matter that I've altered my web browser to have other features or installed even one plugin. That's not relevant. Bone stock, this should have never been included. It's a useless feature that provides absolutely no reason to be there. Then it looked like somebody got bored and wrote it. So again, if you were trying to remove this floating, usually orange overlay with an icon for your microphone, webcam, and who knows what else at one time, that should have never been implemented. If you're trying to get rid of it, you have to do these alterations. You have to create 2 text files. You have to enable your browser to pay attention to them, and you have to enable 2 settings in the same settings area just to get the damn thing to obey you. That's a lot of work that this company went through just to do one thing that was worthless, annoying, and eventually disabled. Bringing up an example of this. YouTube demanding your driver's license or passport photo. They did that at one time. They demanded you use Google Plus because they were trying to force it down people's throats. Yeah, that happened. What else? Microsoft Corporation forcing people to have Clippy. Irritating do-nothing items that waste people's time and make us furious. Why would this be something that a corporation would hire someone to not just go through the effort of doing this, which actually took a lot of effort to get nothing out of it, and make it so mind-fuckingly difficult to clean up, to get rid of these things? Opera at one time had one of the most customizable user interfaces on the planet. You could literally make it to where it was just a blank screen that opened up web pages. No address bar, no nothing. You could make it a kiosk thing. You could turn the web browser into a video game. And in fact, you could add a 3D plugin to where you could play a VRML game in it. People would do that. Made them very useful. And you could also hit a set of buttons to, if you knew the magic character or sequence, Konami code, to get the thing back to being a standard browser. Some of us would use web browsers like a desktop operating system because at one time, the dream of making everything on the internet act like it was your personal computer was there. And then they started doing petty things like making it to where you couldn't have a menu or the address bar is missing. Just experimenting user interface stuff, otherwise known as messing with people and pissing them off and seeing how much they'll put up with. You find a bunch of memos from these large corporations admitting they did this to see how far they could push things before people became furious. Just to see what would piss people off. And this isn't, conspiracy theory or me thinking they're just being malicious, delicious, and seditious. This is shit that we found out about from every large corporation. And from our own government, and from specific political parties, depending on what year it is. It's one or the other, don't think it isn't. Where they go out of their way to look to see how far they can push people's buttons before someone quite literally goes crazy. What's the benefit of this? To see what people's limits are and see if you can exploit them. See also that I get flagged for a video that had no audio or video in it. It was a bad upload that was erased, that YouTube claimed contained medical misinformation when it was 0 seconds long. A black screen with no sound. As an excuse to kill off a previous channel I had. Because I did videos like this where I told people how to get around them shoving shit in your face they wanted you to click on. They want you to pay for YouTube Premium now. They will always want you to. No one wants to pay them anything. We make content for each other. That's not in their business model anymore. People treating the operating system as a necessary component, not something new and nowy and zowie. Well, Microsoft Corporation can't have that. Apple Corporation suing you for reselling your old cell phone as being counterfeit goods, even though you just sold it, that's all. It's not a counterfeit item, but they've outright said in court that reselling it while stating that it's an Apple product means it's a violation of their copyright and intellectual property, so they have the right to seize your old phone that you sold to somebody, especially if it's shipped in and out of the country. They put it under counterfeit items, batteries, power packs. And what do they do with it? Oh, they destroy it. They grind it up. But hey, they're willing to reduce the amount of waste in the world by not including a headphone jack on your cell phone. Or the power pack. Well, everybody's got one. No, you're being cheap and you're charging us triple. This malignant behavior is something that should be fought on every layer. Mozilla Corporation runs the website these plugins are on and allowed people to download them. And now this one's gone. And shit canning every single plugin beforehand for good security reasons. It doesn't change the fact that I couldn't even dig it out of archive.org because apparently they told archive.org to get rid of this specific one. So anyway, I'll be off to GitHub to see how close I got to the same code that's buried in his files, because at least they're still there. They don't work anymore, somehow. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that, and I hope this is useful to all of you. And I hope it pisses off the people who don't like it.